Close your eyes and imagine a world where tranquility and wellness are just a breath away. Welcome to our sanctuary of relaxation and rejuvenation. Elevate your yoga experience with our premium yoga clothing. Crafted from the finest materials, our attire provides the perfect balance of comfort and style, allowing you to move with grace and confidence. Unlock a deeper connection with our community through our Patreon. Gain exclusive access to behind-the-scenes content, bikini hauls, and Patreon-exclusive massage videos. But what if you could carry your sanctuary with you wherever you go? Introducing our mobile app. Access a wealth of yoga classes, guided meditations, massage collections, and self-care techniques right at your fingertips. Create your own oasis of peace, anytime, anywhere. Whether it's finding your perfect yoga attire, connecting deeper through our Patreon, or having your sanctuary in the palm of your hand with our mobile app, we have everything you need to enhance your wellness journey. Visit us at zoso.shop. Join our Patreon or download our app to embark on a path of tranquility and self-discovery. Your journey awaits. Namaste.
Hello, welcome. Today I'm going to be working on the lovely Emmy, and she actually requested some hamstring work. She did some single leg deadlifts at the gym, and so I'm going to go ahead and work on her hamstrings and her glutes. Let's go ahead and dive right in. I think I'm going to go ahead and skip the glute medius today and just start with glute max. Always a great starting point when somebody has really sore hamstrings. So I'm going to do just some compressive work in here and nothing fancy. I'm just going to start to offer some nice firm pressure. And I'm actually going to go back and forth a few times between the IT bands and the glute max. So whenever somebody requests hamstring work after like being really sore, I kind of work around the hamstrings to start, and then I will kind of end with that more uncomfortable work of working directly on them. And it can feel really nice to just offer a little bit of shaking, and I'm gonna just do some compressive work along this long tendon that can get really tight as well when your client's really active or working out a lot. And I'm gonna go ahead and bring this compressive work all the way around the hips and into the iliac crest, just encouraging all this to soften a little bit. And this time I am going to do some active release in this glute max. So I'm just gonna go ahead and grab Emmy's leg and offer a little bit more to that glute max by isolating the muscle fiber a little bit more. And if you feel like you're about to just slide off of that muscle fiber because it's feeling ropey or just super contracted, just like, you know, offer less pressure. It doesn't work to try and like fight the muscle. I've definitely made the mistake of doing that. It just doesn't work. Really important when you're doing massage to remember that like you and your client are a team, and so you're working together. So just encouraging your client, your friend, to stay engaged with what's happening. Especially if you're doing deep tissue work. Depending on what I find, I might go back and forth. I might do little circles, big circles. I might hold in certain areas. And I'm gonna just revisit this IT band. Any work that you do in the glute max is gonna really help the hamstrings relax. And if you notice, I actually have Emmy's legs propped up a little bit higher so that her hamstrings are a little shorter. And it's hopefully gonna be less uncomfortable for her with them just a little bit more slack in those hamstrings. And I'd like to take a minute to thank a few of our patrons. I'd like to thank Josue Mejia, Dustin Turner, and Chancellor Boys. Thank you guys so much for your support. And at this point, I'm gonna go ahead and grab my oil and start working on these hamstrings. If you are using this effleurage technique to start applying whatever medium you're working with, and you try to press too firmly, you're gonna feel really unsmooth in your movements. So just finding a pace and a pressure that allows you to be really smooth. And bringing that stroke all the way into the glute max feels a lot more satisfying than stopping short. I usually work on my clients draped, so I'm always just checking in, making sure that they're comfortable with that. And I'm starting with just stacked hands, and I'm just gonna really see what's going on in these hamstring muscles before I do anything too deep. Never in any hurry to do deeper work if somebody is really sore. So it's just gonna hurt. Something that can feel really nice and just flesh everything out is some cross fiber work. So always working diagonally as to not make Emmy feel uncomfortable. So, you know, it's good to check in. It can feel really nice if you include the adductors in this stroke, but you need to make sure that your client's comfortable with it. So, Emmy, are you comfortable with? Okay. So you can just wrap those fingers around and just starting with this cross fiber work and being mindful to work diagonally. And if somebody is really sore, like deep tissue isn't always the answer. It just kind of depends. I think it's really important to have techniques in your bag that you can use where people can get like a nice satisfying release without always having to do deep tissue. That's not always helpful. I think some people have this misconception that it's like either a Swedish massage or a deep tissue massage, but there's so much gray area in between those two things. And I'm gonna start to hone in on these hamstring muscles a little bit more. So I'm gonna go ahead and do soft fist. And I'm just gonna offer a nice firm touch, but not too much. Bringing that stroke all the way into that glute max. If you're working on a bigger framed person, you can certainly do paired fists. But more often than not, when I'm working on women in general, I use just one hand. And this is a really nice position with the leg up a little bit more. Can just make this kind of work a little bit more tolerable. And anytime that I am moving closer to the table, I always widen my stance so that I'm not hurting my low back. And you do need to be careful too, like the leg is the longest part of the body, so you just need to be even more aware of using your whole body and shifting from foot to foot, or you're gonna get tired really fast. If there's no resistance, then this is a good time to start with some stripping. Usually do that with my thumbs. And I'm gonna start just working my way into these muscles with my thumbs, and just ironing everything out. This can be extremely uncomfortable, especially after someone's worked out, so just keeping that in mind. You can keep your thumbs static and just go straight up, but I find that it's more effective for me if I just rock my fingers, my thumbs a little bit as I work my way up. Really nice to just give your client a break too. And just a wee bit more stripping in here, and then I am gonna do some work on that IT band to end this massage. Just stretching all of that muscle fiber in a way that's going to help Emmy feel a lot better. And usually when I'm working on this IT band, I'll step away from the table. And I mention this a lot. I'm always using the table as support for myself when I'm doing deep tissue work. Just so long as I'm not crowding my client. Like more often than not, they're not even gonna know that you're on the table. It can be helpful to do just small rotations of the hand when you're working on this IT band. And just always ending with a nice broad stroke, tying everything together. And that is all for today. Thank you for joining us today. If you enjoyed today's video, you should check out our Patreon page where you'll find some exclusive content. I look forward to seeing you there.
Join us for 14 and 30-day programs, hour-long classes, and much more on our yoga app, Yoga Plus by Psyche Truth. It's free to download and features a variety of wellness content, including yoga, fitness, Pilates, guided meditations, and interviews with dozens of wellness experts.